Hello, everyone. You are listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
And I'm Isabel.
And we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. Okay, thank you, studio audience. That was a really short clap, but we got to get right to it. First, a couple housekeeping I want to go over. The first thing is I want to thank everyone who has been listening. Are looking at the analytics, it has gone up tremendously. So I want to thank everybody. I apologize for the sound quality. Remember that it is me, and I am not a tech person. I am doing my best, but I'm going to try to always put out the best content, because that's what this is. This isn't a podcast for me. This is a podcast for all of us, me, you, Isabel, everybody listening. It is for all of us. So I just want to say thank you so much for keeping up. The sound should be perfect for this episode. You guys are going to love it. And if you're listening, I just want to go over really quick, like, what you're listening to. You're listening to a podcast where we talk about life, relationships, career, pop culture, true crime, politics, just all things, everything. And we're coming at it from a Christian conservative perspective. So we're going to talk about the fun things, because Christians and conservatives, we can have fun. But our perspective might be a teensy bit different than the mainstream, and that's what this podcast is. So if you're looking for something like that, you have found your place. If you're not looking for something like that, please keep listening, because you're going to like it either way. So that's the first thing I wanted to go over, because, sometimes people are listening and they're like, what is this? But that's what this is. This is actually a heavy pop culture episode today, so hope you'll enjoy that. And if you are enjoying it, if you listen to this episode where the sound's better, and if you listen to previous episodes where the sound's better and you enjoy it, seriously, if you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, because that helps people find the podcast. And when more people find the podcast, it pushes it up on the algorithm. And one of the goals of the podcast is so that people who are Christian and conservative, but also like pop culture and things like that, so you don't feel alone. So that feeling that you feel, where you feel like your views are represented and you don't feel alone, everyone else will feel that way as well. So please leave a review. We also have a Patreon. It is cheap, like $5. Yes, you heard that right. $5 to join. We'll do bonus episodes, lives. We're going to do our book club. We started a book club. We're reading Subverted. And that is available on there. Two more things I want to tell you guys about. On Wednesday, the very first episode of our latest Those Are the Girls Media podcast will be out. And the podcast is called Oops, Spoilers. And really what it is just us talking about movies and TV shows and eventually books. And we're going to spoil it. And then we're going to give like a TOG score. So let me play the trailer really quick for you guys. And, 1 second. TV shows and books. Okay, here we go. Movies, TV shows, and books have the power to take us to another world. Many times a world different from our own. These forms of entertainment are perfect escapism. Listen weekly as Mal and other girls discuss all visual forms of entertainment. From popular TV shows to obscure movies, they'll discuss it and they'll give it a TOG score. It's going to be your next go-to podcast for watching or reading any form of entertainment. I would say more, but oops, spoilers. Okay, so the first episode of that will be out on Wednesday.
I'm sorry.
And I really encourage everyone. If you are into movies and books, please listen to that. You're going to love it. The last thing I'll say is Gorgeous, Gorgeous Girls Votes comes back on Thursday. And that will be going over just some questions that you guys have. But we're first going to talk about like what type of government do we have? Like what even is voting? things like that. How did the country become a country? What happened in 1776? Things like that we're going to go over. And that's going to be available on YouTube and probably podcast form as well. And that's part of the Gorgeous, Gorgeous Girls Vote campaign, because I want everyone to vote in the midterms. Nevertheless, she voted. Vote, vote, vote. So yeah, okay. That is the housekeeping to start off. That took a lot longer than I wanted it to, but everyone's caught up. Let's get even more caught up. Isabel, what has happened to you this week?
Hi, Queen. Thanks for bringing me on.
Hello.
Again. I'm just kidding. No, for real. I'm so grateful to be here.
Of course.
Yeah, my week has been interesting. I can't believe it's Thursday, and I can't believe tomorrow's Friday, because Friday comes after Thursday.
For real.
No, but seriously, that week has been interesting. I mean, work is work, right? Like, who wants to work? But we have to.
Yeah.
Bills got to get paid. But yeah, work has been.
I know. I think about it. I'm like, yeah.
We talked about this literally. Oh my gosh, guys. Me and Mal literally were talking for like 2 hours. Like, what was it? Like 2 days ago? I'm like, this should have been an episode.
Yeah.
So no, that was like the highlight of my week.
Yeah, for real.
Actually, no. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Honestly,
Your work? Oh,
what
us
was
talking?
What happened?
You were saying us talking was the highlight of your week?
Yes, it was. I was like, I'm gonna call my girl Mal, and then I was like, oh my goodness, this could have been a whole episode. Like, I was being funny. I'm just kidding. What else happened? But it really was.
No, you were. She's hilarious.
It was a highlight of my week. And then I did an influencer event last night. So I went downtown after a work day. So that took a lot of energy, but it was really fun. I got to meet new friends, and I got to meet with a friend that I had already met at another event. So that was cool. And she's also single. So it was like single ladies take a night out of town. We're going to drink some wine. The bougie kind, honey. We were drinking $90 wine. Okay. And let me tell you, I woke up and I didn't even feel like I had drank a glass of wine. So that was really good. It was also like 120 degrees. So I think I was sweating the wine by the time I was like done. So anyways, and then they had like these like fun little appetizers I can't even pronounce, but it was cool. What else? So I did that yesterday, and then obviously I got home pretty late. So this morning was a little rough. And then what else? I feel like I have so much to talk about, but then I'm like, wait, I'm going blank. How was your week?
My week was okay. It was interesting. I want to tell you guys a quick story about
oh my God.
Last Friday.
Yes.
I told Isabel this because I didn't respond to her text or something, so I was like, I gotta fill you in what's been going on with me. Okay, so Friday night I was at my friend's house. Yeah, like looking back, it's funny now. So Friday night I was at my friend's house, and we were watching Westworld. 10 out of 10 show. Absolutely love it. Well, I'll say 9.5 out of 10. The 0.5 that it's not a 10 is because it is like unnecessary nudity sometimes.
Okay.
You just gotta fast forward it. It's like, yeah, it's unnecessary. But like the plot, fantastic. Anyway, we're watching Westworld, and I'm like touching my ear. Now I'm like traumatized.
You're like PTSD.
But like I'm touching my ear.
Oh my
yeah, PTSD. I'm touching my ear, and I'm like, okay, this feels weird because it feels like the skin has grown over the back of my piercing. And I'm like, that's kind of strange. So I'm like fidgeting with it. And then I'm like, hey, can you like take a picture and show me? So she takes the picture and I was like, oh my God. I know. I was like, oh my God, like it has, like the skin has grown over the back of my earring.
My
So I'm like, okay. So first of all, I'm the type of person like I will ignore anything going on in my body. It's not good. It's not healthy. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Like, don't do this, girls. Like, if you're listening, when there's a problem, go to the doctor. I don't do that. Anyway, so at first I was like, I'm just gonna ignore it. I was like, you know what? Like, it is what it is. Like, oh well. And then YOLO. I'll just have metal embedded in my skin, no problem. And then I just started thinking about like metals in general, because everybody's talking about metals are so bad for you. And then I was like, well, let me just Google like what's going on. So I'm like, I'm sure this has happened before. Y'all, I
Not
Googled it. It was said I was going to have surgery. And I was like, I know she was like, okay, this girl is a new friend.
Oh, you remember the new friend?
So she's never seen me like stressed before. Yeah, so it was a new friend. So she's never seen me stressed. So I like stopped being fun. I was just kind of like,
you were like, I am
like,
done.
Surgery. I cannot, like, I'm going to get surgery. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I cannot enjoy the show right now. I have to figure out how I'm going to get surgery. How am I going to get time off? I'm going to pay for it.
You're like, let's look at the insurance policy.
And I kept thinking, I was like, I know, but seriously, so I'm like, I'm going to have to get anesthesia. Anesthesia terrifies me. Like, it's irrational. It's
terrible. Now you know how I feel about my toe.
So I'm like, I'm going to have anesthesia.
I said, now you know how I feel about my toe.
Now I know exactly how you feel.
Girl.
Yes, exactly. I know exactly how you feel. So I was like, freaking out. I finally get home. I'm like in my bed sobbing. Like I'm sobbing because I'm like, I can't. How am I going to do surgery? And I cannot do anesthesia. Like I'm just all upset. And I have this older friend. She's more of like a motherly figure. Love her to death. And I know she had a piercing up there. So I like text her, tell her it's like 1:00. I'm like, I know it's really late.
Gosh.
Are you up? And she's like, yeah, sweetie, what's up? And I like tell her, and she's like so sweet. She's like helping me. And she's like, okay, so then, if you might have to go get, this is who I use.
Yeah.
And she's like giving me like all these tips. Like, okay, then you have your insurance. You do have insurance. I'm like, yeah, I have insurance. And we're doing all this stuff. And I was like, well, no matter what, like I was like
no
at 11:00 because that's when the tattoo piercing place opened. I was like, at 11:00, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at that front door and I'm just going to see. I'm going to see what they say. Y'all, I go, and the girl's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll just bing, bang, boom.
Oh, my God.
And I was like,
so what they do?
It was 2 seconds. So it's actually, I thought it was a keloid, and this is gross.
You're hilarious.
So just a heads up.
You're like,
it was actually just blood. It was just like blood and pus. So she got like it looked like a razor, and she just cut it, and I barely felt it. Like I was... Yeah, no, I was like shaking. I know she probably thought I was on drugs. I was shaking. I was like, oh my God, this is going to hurt so bad. I barely felt it. She cut it and then like used tweezers to pull out the ball and then pulled out the front flower and then pulled the flower out and then put another one in.
Like an infection.
That's not as cute. Yeah, so it's essentially an infection.
I'm a doctor. Trust
me.
So
thank God. Yeah, no, I mean, you're better than I was. I thought I was going to have, you guys, I seriously was crying. I'm like, I cannot do anesthesia. And also realistically, like why would they do anesthesia for something like this? Like when I look back, like that's just
was
me
the fear.
Making it bigger than it was. So she just bada bing, bada boom, put another one in. And I was,
I'm laughing now.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, part of the reason so it is my fault it got infected because realistically,
girl, tisk.
Well, also realistically, like I had that piercing in for 2 years and I should have taken it out. Like that was my beat. I'll admit that. It was so cute. I didn't want to take it out. I know.
You were like,
so
cuteness has to overpower.
I'm gonna clean this one. I've always been beauty over comfort. That has always been my motto since I was a kid. Beauty over comfort. What do you think
of I broke my freaking toe and I was still doing the wobble. And I kept dancing the rest of the night. And I told all of y'all. And now I realize that now it reminds me of like, you literally are like, literally, I can't even talk. You're literally like that because remember when I was like, I don't know if I should go to the doctor. And my toe was literally black and like toasted, and you were like, you were like making all these noises, and I'm like, Mal, don't scare me, and you were like, girl, I don't know, I think you should go to the hospital. I'm like, the hospital? I'm like, girl, I can walk though, like I can feel my toe. We were like the worst. I don't think we should go camping ever.
Oh God, no.
Can you imagine both of us like freaking out? Girl.
No.
Gorgeous girls.
I would not
go camping. With extra friends.
No, for real. I am merch coming soon. Girl. No, but like I am not the one to take to stuff like that. Like I don't like sick. I don't like
you can't see like pain.
I will be there for you.
Like someone fracturing.
No. I don't like to see people in pain. No, oh my gosh, no. I don't like that. Like I'll be there for you. I'll pray for you.
And that's it.
I was down to, go with you to the hospital, but like I'm not the best in those situations. I'm not the one that
I felt like you were very sweet though. Because you and Mel, you guys took me to the urgent care, and then the guy was like $500, and I was like, "Psych! I will take my broken pinky toe back home. Me and my broken pinky toe will be okay."
So how's
my toe?
Does it feel better?
Yes.
Today?
Well, I'm not gonna show you my feet, but you don't need to see.
I was like, whoa! Don't do that.
Better.
We don't need to.
My sister, I forget who told me. I think my sister. She told me that literally, if you sprain your toe, I think it was the sprain. Until this day, I never got X-rays, which is really, really bad. I should go. I do have insurance.
You still didn't?
Yeah, no, girl. I've been just like, all right, bye. Like, I'm like, ugh, it's just so stressful.
I feel you. I don't know why I'm judging you.
Honestly, unless you go to like ER, which is they'll take care of you like right away. I feel like it's just it's such a pain. It's such a like drag to go get anything checked when you're not like life or death, because they're like, oh, okay, you're fine. Like, wait 3 days and we'll call you or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't have time for that. I was like, whatever. And now it's like practically back to normal. But I did like research, Mr. Google Doc friend. It did say if you have a sprain, it can take anywhere from 6 or 4 to 6 weeks. So it's like a long healing process. So if you got anybody out there listening and you've stubbed your toe or sprained it or broken your foot, toe, whatever, please let your girl know your healing process, because I feel like, I don't know, it's healing, but it's definitely not 100%. I will say that.
Okay. Does it still hurt?
Not really. Only whenever I do like super like press on it super hard. But yeah, I can't wear any of my cute heels. I'm like stuck to like one specific heel right now, which is like very stressful. Okay, guys, first world problems. But anyways, back to your story. So that took what? They healed you. I'm like, back to you. So what they do? How long did it take for them to like do the little thingy?
It literally took maybe altogether like 10 minutes max. So I go and I tell her, I show her, and she's like, okay, well, give me a second. I go by myself.
Independent queen.
And she's like, I mean, honestly, I would have wanted someone to go with me, but like, I'm also not the type to be like,
you're like,
I don't know.
You're like, I'm dying, but I'm not needing.
I don't know. Yeah, that's literally, that's exactly what it is. Like, I'm dying here, but no, I can do it myself, and that's probably not a good quality. But anyway, that's something I can sort out one day in therapy. But anywho, so I go back there, and she's like, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's simple. Cuts it open.
At least she wasn't dramatic.
Puts the other one in, and then she's like, treat it like you just got it redone. Yeah, I know. She was probably thinking like, what the heck is wrong with this girl? But I was like shaking. I was so nervous. I thought it was going to hurt. I thought I was going to have to get surgery.
Mal was really in it, because I texted this girl. I like triple, quadruple texted you. And I was like, why is she not responding? Like, this is not like you. Like, you're always like, hey, queen. Like, right away, so friendly. And I was like getting worried. I was like, oh my gosh. I sent you like this long freaking message.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then like 5 hours later, like, you're so dramatic. You're like 5 hours later, you're like, hey girl, I am so sorry. You're like, I've had this horrible like thing happen to me. You were like, I thought I was gonna need surgery. And it was like, surgery? Then you scared me. And then you told me about your ear pierce. I was like, this girl, oh my gosh. I'm over here with a broken toe, like still wearing heels, taking pictures in the VIP lounge. We're funny.
No, I thought it was way bigger than it. Well,
it is.
I don't know, because like people are saying like metals are so bad, you don't want them in your body.
Because then you have to get that one shot. What is it called? No. Oh, no. Tetanus shot or something like that.
I don't know.
I think that's what they give you whenever you get like.
No, I think that's if like.
I'm like. Rust or something, nail rust or something. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. I was gonna say I don't know how often I get cuts here, but
I'm definitely.
I'm definitely
not a science major or medical, as you can tell. Okay.
Okay, well, we should get into it. We have some stories. It's really only just pop culture-ish stuff today, so hopefully you ladies will like that. We have some interesting stories for you, so let us get started. Okay, you have your tea. You ready to? Okay. And clink.
Yeah.
Haha.
I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
Virtual clink.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh. Not the thing doing it again. Okay. So the first story is, why are people convinced that Avril Lavigne is a clone? And this is from Evie Magazine. You guys should definitely follow them. They're such a cute online publication. Okay, so I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I'm going to read some of it, and then we can just discuss. Also, I'll link this because I feel like this will be just a fun read for people. So here is the theory. Okay. I guess I'll just start. So they break it down with the Mandela Effect. So the Mandela Effect, in simple terms, presents the idea that we may be living in a parallel universe where a large group of members remember something that essentially never happened. The reason this phenomenon is called the Mandela Effect is because of the significant controversy centered around the death of South African Nelson Mandela, South African president. He wasn't just a South African. A large portion of the population attests that Mandela died in prison during the 80s, while it's been reported that he actually died in his home in 2013. So the question stands, why do so many people believe otherwise? Call it poor memory or just pure delusion, but there seems to be many other instances that have left the masses mystified. Another popular one is Bernstein Bears. I'm sure you guys have heard that. And one recent scrutiny even put the color of Britney Spears' skirt from the 90s music video Baby One More Time under the magnifying glass. Do you remember it being plaid? Do you remember the skirt being plaid from the Baby Hit Me Baby One More Time? Well, think again.
Okay.
The official video is saying it's black and has always been.
Stop.
Which I really do remember it being plaid as well.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so is Avril Lavigne being a clone the next effect? Here we go. All this to say that maybe the Mandela Effect has something to do with the reason many believe famous punk rock star Avril Lavigne is a clone and has been replaced by a doppelganger named Melissa. Apparently, Avril Lavigne's recent surge of TikTok posts has put the topic of her authenticity in the spotlight again. Authenticity. Mm-hmm. So a blog asserted that Avril died in 2003 and was replaced by her doppelganger Melissa to continue her rising fame. Why do people think this? Well, in 2011, a Brazilian blogger published that she died of suicide after undergoing a deep depression due to the loss of her grandfather. Since Avril was amidst the rise in her career at the time, it's been rumored that they decided not to announce her death and instead hired Melissa to carry her legacy. Even if you weren't an Avril Lavigne fan, you've probably heard her most favorite song, Skater Boy, on the radio. And aside from her music, her style has had a major influence on Hollywood as well. Despite the Hollywood pressure to fit the supermodel mold of her celeb peers, Avril was always admired by the rebel who forged her path, especially in fashion. However, it's been clear that Avril's wardrobe has undergone a major transformation over the years as she's traded in her combat boots for heels and cargo pants for skirts. If you look through Avril's fashion trends, it seems apparent that the transformation did happen mostly after 2003. Coincidence? Perhaps. The changing taste that comes with age? Maybe. Or is it that we're really the sense of style of Melissa? All that aside, what seems to have changed in Avril's appearance is her nose, skin blemishes, and moles. Although it's not uncommon for celebs to engage in subtle plastic surgery, so it's difficult to label this observation as being a heavy role in the Imposter Act, some argue that she had a nose job at the very least during her cough career break. While her physical evolution is the most attention-grabbing take that the fans are thinking isn't really true, other interesting incidents have included, here we go, Avril botching interviews she should have otherwise nailed, being seen at a photo shoot with the name Melissa written on her hand, and even the slightly humorous undertone from MTV when they put quotation marks around Avril's name on the TV footnotes. So in her interview at the 2021 VMAs, here are the closing thoughts of the author. We're in the middle of riding the wave of reality into artificial. Between social media morphing and instantaneous reporting, it's hard to establish what's up and down anymore. And just wait until the metaverse is in full swing. While these theories seem outlandish, they definitely get the brain thinking in new and eccentric ways. Not to mention, stir the ever-present questioning of what's really going on. If you're like us, we're always eager to see what gets rumored next and poke around to find some elements of truth. Okay, that was a lot. I hope you guys were able to follow along at least a little bit. TLDR, Avril Lavigne, they're saying that Avril Lavigne is actually a clone, and they gave some evidence being that some her nose, some moles have been removed, blemishes, and then just subtle things about her not doing well in interviews. What are your thoughts?
Girl, this sounds out there. I'm like, it sounds out there. I'm honestly like not dug up on like the metaverse or whatever, to be very honest with you. But it kind of seems like, you know, with that story, that's where they want to take it, you know. I would kind of be sad if she did die. I'm like, that's really sad.
Yeah.
And then that's like a clone. Like, what? I don't know. I would have to look at like literally her. Literally after we finish this podcast, I'm gonna go and like stalk her. Like, I'm sure she has an Instagram, right? I don't know.
Yeah, and you should watch YouTube. So I
gotta look into it. I feel like a little bit
for
more,
a long time,
to be honest.
Yeah, you should watch some YouTube videos about it. There's people who have done like deep dives about like who she really is. I think it's a little silly to say that, but then that's what my initial thought. But then I'm also thinking like people really do like these people like big music. They want money. Right. So they're like constantly, so like I guess I can kind of see the idea of like, okay, this is a mega star. Let's put someone else in her place. I can kind of see that.
It is weird because I'm like, I try to be like, I don't know. Okay, try to like play devil's advocate. And I'm like, okay, in a way it's like, okay, crazy. Why would you say that? But then the other way, you know, we've noticed how like media like likes to turn and twist things around. And then there's always like, so many sides to the story, right? So it's like, who do you trust? Like, that's why I guess it's like conspiracy theory or whatever. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, with the whole Avril Lavigne. I mean, even with like Michael Jackson, like they said that supposedly he's not dead, and Tupac supposedly he's not dead, and then these other people are dead, and they have clones. It's like, okay, what? But I mean, it seems interesting. You just kind of have to like, I guess like when you get on the internet, you can just like dig yourself a black hole and like never come out. It's funny because my coworker, she's like obsessed with this, like the whole like, you know, just getting into like conspiracy theories and, you know, the metaverse and all of that. I'm like, she would freaking have all these thoughts probably. Versus me, I'm like, wait, what? This is like the first time I've heard that. Since you sent it to me over text, and I was like, really? What? I just remember Avril Lavigne, like growing up, she had that one song, and that's it. Loved it. It was like a one and done. But yeah, that's
really, you only knew one song by her. Yeah,
I was not a big Avril Lavigne fan.
Oh,
I was over here listening to freaking R&B, early 2000s R&B. Like I had a new business listening to that.
Okay. Do you remember the movie New York Minute or New York by the Minute with Mary-Kate and Ashley? Where they go to New York and they're like twins? Okay, so I don't know if you remember. There's like the scene where the one that's not smart is giving the speech for the smart girl, and she goes, and like the philosopher Avril Lavigne says, why you gotta make things so complicated?
That's the only song I know.
I see the way, and that's a lot. Yeah. Oh, that's the only song you know. I love that song. Like, I love that song, and like I think it came out in the 7th grade. I'm like, I don't even know why I felt that so much.
The chokehold that song had on.
Seriously, I love that.
That was around like the time where JoJo like came out with the whole that song. Oh my goodness, why am I blanking out?
The end of you and me. Yeah.
The end of you, girl.
Yeah. And Teardrops on my guitar came out around that time too. So it was like Teardrop. And why am I?
You're like, yes, Tony broke my heart.
Music
even
was
though
so
I didn't even have my first kiss till like after high school.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
yes.
same.
Okay.
Mine. Yes.
So I made up mine. I made up mine.
Anyway,
I think I had junior.
Oh.
I'm like, don't get too excited.
I was feeling seen.
I'm like, okay, girl. Okay,
sorry.
I'm just kidding.
You don't let me stop.
Wait. I was like, she's gonna go way too much into this.
Oh my god. Okay.
I had my first kiss. No. I'm like, no one.
Anyway,
like,
so
no one, me. I had
relationships in our middle school.
Oh my gosh. So I really did have my first kiss, like almost at the end of high school. It was like end of not junior. That was a little too much. I'm just kidding. At the end of my sophomore year, I think it was sophomore. I never kissed anyone before, and it was my first kiss. I feel like, yeah, we're just not gonna go into it, but yeah, that's great.
Mine was like the summer before college.
Okay.
So. But that's okay. I was 18. It's no problem.
That's fine, queen.
That's completely normal.
Like,
it's okay.
Completely normal.
Anyway, so...
My cheeks hurt. I can't even laugh anymore.
I told a guy that once, and he was like...
About your cheeks or the kiss?
That was your... I was like... Mm-hmm. Like, no! About the kiss!
About your cheeks? I'm like, wait a second.
No, I don't
think it was. Oh, now that I think about it, it's so cringe.
I'm
like, oh my goodness. Oh my god. By the way, I knew I had things to talk about when you were like, "What's my week like?" I swear, I'm like have like memory loss. But anyway, which is actually sad. But my high school reunion. There we go. It's coming up. My 10th year high school reunion, and it's like I follow them on Instagram. And it's just so funny because all week they've been sharing pictures, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it just brought back so many memories and nostalgia, like high school, and it's just like, girl, the good times. So we didn't even have like Instagram or anything like that. I can't even imagine high school now. Like, God bless the kids, because honestly, like it was already bad when we were in high school.
Oh,
like. I can only imagine. And honestly, like, no one really shamed me for, like, not having a kiss. Like, it wasn't, like, a big, like, deal. Like, everyone was just like, yeah. Like, or maybe I just had good friends. But, like, thinking about it now, because, like, now these kids, when my little sister tells me,
I feel
my
like
sister's 13. She is, like, Gen Z, okay? And she just tells me all these things, and, like, and she's in middle school. And I'm like, these kids ain't got no business doing this and saying that. Like, girl, they're bad. So anyways, but yeah, the whole like high school reunion has just bringing back like memories and stuff. And now that we're talking about Avril Lavigne and like all this stuff and like JoJo, I'm just like, good times. I was young, wild, and free.
Good times.
And didn't need Botox. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Life is just... life is just so different than...
We didn't have to pay bills.
So I don't think anyone... Right. And I don't think anyone ever said anything to me about never being kissed. I think I myself made a bigger deal out of it. Like, I remember thinking, I'm a senior in high school. I've never been kissed. Like, I remember thinking that. But
like, it wasn't really a big deal. Or, like, I don't feel like you were pressured. Like, I mean, I wasn't pressured. It was more of like...
I was never pressured in high school.
But you know what it is? I think it's the social media. It's the social media. Because all these kids now, they're like, my boo,
it has
baby.
To be.
I'm like, first of all, your parents paying you for that phone. You better act straight, sir.
Right.
But yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with social media. Right.
Your mom dropped you off at the movies with your boo.
Exactly.
Your mom dropped you off,
But see, in high school we didn't have that. And also I was like in the drill team, it was like dance team. So like we couldn't be seen like holding hands or anything like that. So I am thankful because I felt like that kept me in line. As a little rebel child that I was. Not really, but I was always a late bloomer, but thank God I was never like into peer pressure. Like I was just kind of stubborn in my ways. So like if I didn't want to do something, like you weren't going to make me. And I was also a scaredy cat ever since then.
Yeah.
So it was just like the whole like smoking and all that. It could not be me because I'm like, First of all, my parents find out.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm not seeing tomorrow. I'm not living for tomorrow.
I
no.
Well, yeah, and for me, I would in high school 110% would not have given into it. I didn't even that stuff never even crossed my mind.
Did you go to public
school? I had friends. None of us were into drinking or smoke, so it never. I didn't even see. No, that's probably why too. I went to Christian school, and honestly, I didn't even see like weed or like stuff like that until college. I didn't even know what it looked like till college. So like it never crossed my mind.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you were protected, at least in the way where, like, at least with social media, you know, it's like there's really no protection. It's like you can see things that you're not maybe supposed to see or whatever. And now it's like, so like when we were growing up, it's like you probably didn't even know what weed looked like, or I mean, not alcohol. I'm sure you knew what alcohol. Yeah. But you know,
I knew what it smelled like because at basketball,
or even just like you know, whatever. I just feel like without social media, there's not a lot of things that like you were exposed to, basically, you know. So it's okay, Queen.
Yeah. Okay, well, sorry. It's great to be exposed. No, I was just trying to figure out how to like transition to the ad. It's great to be exposed to makeup at an appropriate age. I don't know. That was weird. So this segment is brought to you by American Women Beauty. Head over to AmericanWomanBeauty.net and use the code MAL15 to get 15% off of your purchase. Woo. These beauty products are for free-thinking women. So join the beauty revolution. Beauty. I'm pretty sure it's like I said booty. Beauty is what I meant. Speaking of beauty, the next story.
I'm dead.
Does it sound like I'm saying beauty?
No. I'm like, no.
Okay. Well, beauty. Speaking of beauty.
You're like, beauty? That's because you keep saying beauty.
Our next story comes from...
Sorry.
How am I supposed to say it? Beauty?
Beauty. Belleza.
Beauty. How do you say it?
Beauty queen.
How do you say
it? Your face. Beauty.
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 Beauty. Beauty.
Wait, I said that.
Beauty. Beauty. Beauty.
Your face.
Well, you know, Texas, North Carolina.
Potato patata.
We say things a little different.
Yes.
Beauty.
There you go. Yes, queen.
Beauty. Anyway. Anyway, the next story is brought to you by Fox News. Linda Evangelista, she settled $50 million with her coal sculpting case. All right, here we go. Linda Evangelista has finally settled the $50 million coal sculpting case she filed years after she claimed the non-invasive fat-freezing cosmetic procedure left her permanently disfigured with bulges and protrusions. The 57-year-old supermodel alleged that she was brutally disfigured and had been unable to work following the rounds of nightmare procedures, which began August 15 through February 2016. In September of last year, Evangelista filed a lawsuit against Cool Sculpting's parent company, Zeltic Aesthetics, Inc., for $50 million in damages. The FDA-cleared fat-freezing procedure has become popular as a non-invasive alternative to liposuction. Earlier this year, the runway legend revealed she was diagnosed with paradoxal adophageal hyperplasia. I'm just going to call it PAH, because PAH. A rare side effect that affects less than 1% of cool sculpting patients, in which the freezing process causes the affected fatty tissue to thicken and expand.
That sounds awful.
Evangelista told People magazine that within 3 months of treatment, she notices bulges on her chin, thighs, and bra area that grew and hardened. That sounds awful.
Poor thing. Sorry, I had to mute it because there's a motorcycle guy. I was like racing in my neighborhood.
Hello?
Yeah.
Still there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, okay. I was
like, can you hear me now?
You're frozen.
And I keep sneezing, no problem. So I'm like, sorry, guys.
But you heard it? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes,
now.
no, I heard your part. I can
hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
I can hear you.
Hey.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So what were you saying? What were you saying?
No problem. So yeah. So what do you think about? Okay. Cool. So I think there's a slight delay because you're. Hopefully it doesn't show up in the audio,
Can you
but
hear me now?
well. Well, what I was saying.
Okay. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
it was like 2 minute delay. It was so we were like the weather people. And they're like, back to you. And then it's like 10 minutes.
And then
I'm
you're just
just
sitting
like,
there like,
and then their smile starts to shake. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Okay, so the story. That sounds painful. Poor thing. Gosh. Girl.
I
I have
know.
a, oh, I have
I
a story.
know.
But I'm just,
Okay.
this is why I have like health anxiety. Like, I just freak out. Like your story earlier about the ear.
Okay.
Like, literally, stuff happens, you know? I'm someone that's like, I'm allergic to
Yeah.
everything. And like, ah, poor thing. I definitely feel for her, for sure.
I do too. That sounds awful. Like the idea of going in, okay, I'm going to get rid of some of this fat, and then all of a sudden you have a bulge here, a bulge, especially on your face. Like there's parts of your body that you'll keep covered up. Like okay, but like on your face, oh god, you're, and that's why she sued. Let me tell you, it's probably my best feature. Let me tell you. Okay. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I was like, oh, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here. Style and smile. Tell all of your friends. Hmm. Okay. Um, yeah. Oh, PTSD. You got PTSD too. Well, do you think? So I just had this idea pop up really quick, really quick. Do you think that you really were allergic to the glue, or do you think maybe they didn't clean some of the stuff and you could have had allergic reaction to like the utensils? Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Okay. Oh wow. They were like, we won't charge. I'm like, yeah, you better not. You don't need them. Yeah. 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 No, for real. For real. No, I mean, there's nothing. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. You, first of all, you look great. You don't need anything done. And I'm not just saying that as your friend. I'm saying this as like, honestly, like you don't need anything done. Seriously. And I think that like, of course. I think you're so right about we're trying really hard. I think about this because I was showing my friend this transgendered person that is male to female, but looks fabulous. I mean, and I'm not saying this as a dig to me. I'm just being honest. Like this person looks. I'm a natural female. From my observation, I'm a natural born female. This person looks 1,000 times better than me. Like it's very, very passable, right? So I was talking to my friend about this, and I was like, "What's going to be difficult? Because this is going to be a like it's going to keep happening. I keep seeing more passable people." And I don't mean this in like a mean way to be mean to anyone, but what's going to start happening is this is going to be the standard that because this person has had surgery for their face, surgery for their body. This person has also had different type of surgeries done to their breasts, to their bodies, like I think it's like feminization surgery. The point is like they have become unattainable because of surgery, but that's about to be the standard because because that's what's going to be popular. That's what's popular. People are going to want to do that. And as an adult, I can recognize that and be like, okay, this person's a made up person. I'm not going to be jealous. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about it. But when I think about like younger girls, like they're not going to, they might not be able to make that distinction. They might not be able to understand.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Everything good?
Yes. I was trying to change it because your face froze on me.
But yeah, so I think about that like, oh, go ahead. It's, you're like frozen.
Oh man. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Okay. I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I think it's delayed.
Perfect. Okay. I think it's a little delayed as well. So let's wait a second or two to make it undelayed because it caught up last time. Wait a second or two. Okay, I think we're good. What I was just saying is like with that transgendered person, it's making an unrealistic expectation because the reason why they look so good is 100% because of surgery and 100% of the things that they've gotten done. And I'm saying like younger girls, it's going to be hard for them to recognize like this person is, you can't look like this person because they're unattainable because that's all surgery. Like that's not something that you can be without all this other stuff. So that's just one of the tiny dangers I think with this new world that we're entering. And even, the Kardashians, they're easy targets, but like there's other people who I think are in Hollywood and stuff like that are they have just different things that you want, but when you really think about it, it's like unattainable. It's unattainable because they've had extra money and things done. I think that's the other thing too. People, and I know it's like the joke, like you're not ugly, you're just poor, but like that's really a lot. Like not trying to be mean to myself or others, but that's the truth. Like they look like this because they have the money to get it done.
You're so right. And then it's also like scary how like good these like surgeons are because I mean, yes, we look at the dramatic cases, like obviously like a lot of, like trans people, like they have a lot of like the boobs and a lot of stuff you can be like, okay, yeah, you definitely got, not even just trans, but
you
like
are cutting out.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. 1 second, okay? I'm going to put you on Wi-Fi. Gosh.
Okay. While she does that, I also just want to encourage everyone, you know, I think beauty is important. I think that, you know, looking good, makeup, nothing's wrong with that. But I also want to encourage you to, and this is something that I'm talking to myself as well. I want to encourage you to try to work with and tailor what God has given you, and to realize that just certain things are unattainable. There are some things that are attainable. You know, attainableness, putting some lipstick on, that's attainable. You know, having 16 bazillion your lips out here for whatever reason, especially if you don't have the money, might not be attainable, and that's okay. We should be more appreciative for tiny things like that God's given us. Okay, Isabel's back. What were you saying?
Gosh, I'm so sorry. Like my Wi-Fi, I'm gonna have a talk with AT&T. I'm just kidding.
Call you and let them know you are a prominent podcast hostess, and you need, you can't be having spotty Wi-Fi. You are a podcast hostess,
queen. No, seriously, I'm gonna call AT&T and give them a piece of my mind. I'm just kidding. I probably shouldn't even say that company.
You should.
I don't even know if I have AT&T.
Whatever.
That's so messed up. Okay, I'm like AT&T. No, okay. Well, we'll have to hurry up because I don't know how much Wi-Fi strength I have, and I don't want to keep cutting you because that's so disrespectful.
We're almost done.
So yeah, sorry about that. I'm having issues, but I know I was saying how like it's crazy how good these surgeons are, because obviously, yes, we have those extreme cases where like people go like you know, I don't know if you've seen those like reality shows where they're like botched and all that. It's like, okay, we could totally tell you have surgery, especially whenever like you come in one day to work, you have like little, you know, thin lips, and then you come the next day, you have like huge lips. It's like, okay, you got something done.
Obviously something was that.
But you know, sometimes they're very subtle, and like you would never know, especially with nose jobs. I've realized nose jobs, lips, I feel like you can tell unless like you've never met that person, you know, then you're like, we don't know what her natural lips look like. But the nose one always gets me. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if someone's had a nose job or not, or just like even like face reconstruction, or like I feel like boobs, you can definitely tell if you got them done or not. But yeah, it's crazy how good these surgeons have become, because it's like sometimes you can't even tell. So again, it goes back to like, you know, young girls, it's like they're never like, it's scary to think that like they're not going to know if someone is what they have is real, or if it's like bought or what, because it's like, I don't know. I just think it can get very dangerous, you know. It's like, and God created us all so different. Like, imagine, like, I feel like when you start, like, no offense, but like when you start seeing girls with like it's like every single lip looks the same. That's how I feel like it's starting to become. And I'm like, I don't want to do something or look like everyone. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't, you know. So I'm like, you know what? And I'm also obviously, yes, I have insecurities. I think we all do. Like for me personally, like my nose, I've always felt like, it could be a little better. but you know, I mean, now I'm fine with how I look. But you know, it's just like especially when you're young. But I think like you grow out of it. Like I feel like that's how at least I like. At one point, I wanted my boobs done. Now I'm like, thank the Lord, because there's so many things coming out about how like people are getting sick, like literally sick from having implants in their breasts for like 10, 20 years. The studies are now coming out because obviously these are the girls in our age when they were 16, 17, 18 that got their boobs done, you know? So I just thank God that he just like never allowed me to take my thoughts into like actions and like do something about quote unquote my imperfections. And now I've like learned to embrace like my nose and you know, my eyes and whatever, because honestly, like I want to look like a human. Like I want to look like myself. I'm not saying, oh my God, if you get your lips done or do a little handsome here and there, like you're crazy or out of this world. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying personally, like I'm just so happy that I learned to love my skin, because fads change, you know, freaking trends change. Like now we're seeing how the BBL stuff is not in. Yeah. I'm like, yay, I have a flat butt. We're like, I'm in.
Same. my time to shine.
Or girls with no boobs. Like, no, but like, you know, it's like the trend now, and I'm like, like, can we just like be happy? You know, I just feel like it can get into a very like toxic cycle. And like I said, my main concern is with the youth. Like, you do what you're gonna do, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, don't get this, don't get that. But I'm just, like I said, I'm speaking from my experience, but also I just think it's very detrimental to our youth, to the new generation, that they're seeing girls on Instagram that don't even look like that. They're seeing in real life. Girl, even me, as someone that's been been a cheerleader and been in, like, you know, around women, beautiful women. I'm like, you know, I'm like, still, sometimes I still get shocked. I'm like, what? That girl, that ain't your hair. Like, that's not your lashes. Like, because it looks so good and natural. Like, a lot of the bloggers get those big, like, hair extensions. And I'm over here like, why my hair doesn't look like that? Like, I look at my pictures with my little iPhone camera, and I'm like, I don't look like those other girls. But then I'm like, those other girls, not those other girls, this podcast. I'm just kidding. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, like, back to what you were saying. Yeah, I'm not ugly. I'm just poor. I'm like, so yeah, that's my thoughts are all over the place ever since my Wi-Fi crashed. But you know what I mean? That's basically the gist. I don't look like those other girls. I look like these other girls.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean though, but and just kind of to wrap it all up in a nice bow, I think that like you were saying earlier, as you've gotten older, you've kind of grown out of it. I think a lot of it is just coming to the realization of like who you are and like figuring out your identity. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be cute and fashionable. I mean, hello, I'm wearing lipstick, bright red lipstick at that. So like obviously I don't think there's anything wrong with being cute and fashionable, but I do think there is something you should think about and consider when your identity is in that. And I think when you start putting money, time, effort into something, you have to start really being serious about it. But I'm also grateful too that the only thing I've ever wanted was like a tummy tuck or like a sleeve. I looked into that and like, it's like they put your stomach in this, they cut your stomach in half and they put your stomach in this thing. That sounds very traumatic. Yeah. It does. And I used to want that, but like now that I'm older, like I'm like, you know what? Like I've seen people on Instagram, I've seen people on Instagram do it like lose weight naturally. Like I've seen this, I've seen that, like it's possible. So I am glad I kind of got out of that because also too I was looking at the price and it's so wouldn't have been able to anyway. Not ugly, just poor, like, but we're gonna get it. Like my money wasn't the issue. The money was the issue. right. Like, no, I'm just we're like, so not the nose. Facial reconstruction, just wasn't feeling it. Yeah. My bank account actually could not support it. Not ugly, just broke. Okay, but thank you everybody so much for listening. This episode was also brought to you by our latest sponsor, and it is Garneau. You guys have seen it. We've done an episode with them. We finally have a discount code for you guys. If you use the code OTHERGIRLS10, you get 10% off of your purchase. You can get a subscription and this organic tampons and period cups and super cute merch as well. I don't know if you can see on my phone, I have the Woman Not Menstruator sticker. So yeah, Garneau. If you go to www.garneau.com, use the code OTHERGIRLS10 to get 10% off. We're just going to wrap it up right there. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Isabel, thank you so much for coming on again, gracing us with your presence, you're so welcome. Your funniness, your face, your just amazingness. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're the best. This has been another... Thank you, girl. This has been another great episode. And if you really enjoyed it, if you're like laughed all the way through, even when we got a couple of flub-ups, if you laughed all the way through it, go ahead and give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening. And go ahead and share with your friends. If you think, even when they mess up, they're hilarious. Go ahead, share it. Tell all your friends. Please do. Also head over, get some cute merch. Nevertheless, She Voted. These t-shirts are available on the website. I think that's it. You guys, thanks for listening. See you later. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.